It's Monday, February 13th, and this is Geeknights. Tonight, we were going to talk about DRM, but we kind of get sidetracked and just wander around about metabits and basically cop out of the episode.
Let's do this.
So last Thursday, at the end of the show, I started to tell a story, and then I stopped because we were kind of out of time about my computer and my monitor and my video card and something terrible that had happened. So I'm going to finish the story because I promised I would. Now, the other day, I came home from work, and I turned on my 6.5, it's almost 7-year-old monitor to, do my computer stuff. Look at the websites I can't look at work and all that sort of thing. And I turn it on, and I go to unlock my computer, and I notice that my X screensaver login thing is a little, not looking so good. It's a little black and blurry and all artifacty, and generally looks like my monitor has fucked itself. So I log in, and sure enough, my monitor has fucked itself. There's dark lines that follow various colors around the screen, and it looks like the CRT has just died. So I'm pissed off, and I'm fiddling with things. I open the little OSD menu on the monitor, and I'm moving stuff around, trying to change brightness, contrast, see if I can get it into a usable state. And it's not working, and I resigned myself to buying a new monitor. Then I opened the OSD one more time to change one more setting back to the way it was, and I realized something that made me feel like an idiot. The OSD menu was just fine. It was perfect and bright and clear, just as though the monitor were new. Turned out that my video card, the GPU, had overheated enough to where it shat itself.
Yep. You should replace that fan a little sooner.
Yeah, the fan's kind of spinning, but I burned my finger to the point that I got a tiny blister on it when I touched the GPU on my video card.
Wow.
You know what, though?
My video card, one of the fans, a little I think it might be dying, but there's not much I can do about it. And the other one still works. And yeah, but wow.
Yeah,
it's not going to die soon.
I had a little blister. It's almost gone, but you can still see it if you look at my right pinky.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a GeForce 2 GTS. It's old as shit, and I paid almost $400 for it when it came out. So I think I got my money's worth over all those years.
And this is a problem, actually, because, you don't think about it, but, back in the day when I had a Pentium 3 450, right? Sure, it had a normal heatsink with a normal fan on it. And you didn't need a fan on the chipsets on the motherboard. You didn't need any cooling on the RAM or your hard drive.
You needed one fan in the front of the case.
You needed a perfectly normal fan and heatsink on your processor, and a fan in the front of the case, and a fan in the back of the case, and a fan in the power supply.
A lot of cases didn't even have a fan in the back.
Now,
they just had the power supply fan.
Those are places where you've needed fans and heatsinks since the beginning of computers. Every computer a zillion years ago always had those fans.
Then there started coming out these motherboards that came with a heatsink on, the North Bridge.
Mm-hmm. Well, the thing is that nowadays you need that. The problem is that in the rush to make everything faster and faster and faster and more features, is they've put more emphasis on speeding things up faster than emphasis on making them stable and run cool. It's like nowadays you can get a 500, 600 megahertz processor that runs without a heatsink, without anything, just completely fine and cool, But if you want something faster, then you can get it, but it's crazy hot.
Yep, it also uses a lot more power. Mm-hmm. I mean, you need 3, 4, 500 watt power supplies now to run PCs. Old PCs will run on a 100 watt power supply. Yep. At work, I have a workstation that runs on a 65 watt power supply.
See, it all comes down to lazy programming. What they used to do back in the day, we would have 100 megahertz computers, and big companies would have giant servers, and instead of the giant servers just having a whole bunch of the same processor we have at home, they would actually have processors that were, insane and were super hot. And they wouldn't give anyone at home something that ran super hot. They'd be like, that's way too hot and way too unstable and crazy for people at home to use. Now they give us the crazy stuff, and we buy it because it's the only thing fast enough to run these poorly written programs that are so super slow and unoptimized.
Well, the other problem is simply that people don't really think much about cooling their computer. I mean, geeks do, but even a lot of geeks, they think about it, but they think about it as though it's still the 90s, where you need a fan in the front and a fan in the back, and whatever fan came with your CPU, and that's it.
No, people go crazy, or they go too crazy with the cooling to the point of stupid.
There are nerds and geeks that go crazy, but a lot of geeks who aren't real big on computers don't know.
Mm-hmm.
They use whatever came with the computer, or they get those little fans that make a lot of noise instead of the big ones that actually do a good job.
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
And no one thinks to look inside the computer and make sure all their fans are still running.
Sometimes I would rather just have a computer that had a heatsink on the CPU, a fan in the front, a fan in the back, the same loadout in the olden days, and have chips that just didn't need to be cooled, that were stable and cool. But the problem is that all the software is written so poorly that I really can't get by with such a slow computer anymore. But if they hadn't ever, started releasing crazy hot CPUs out to the public, and trying to catch up to Moore's Law, then maybe programs would be written better, and we wouldn't have to worry about overheating and all that other bullshit.
I'll point out that it's not all sloppy programming. I mean, we do more things with computers now.
We do.
If I went back then and told myself, you'll be editing audio in real time, I would have laughed at myself and said, that's impossible.
Yeah, but still, even today, if the processor that you can get that will run just fine with just one fan on it, with an uncooled Northbridge and an uncooled video card, is still pretty freaking badass.
Well, consider this.
It's just that the ones that need super cooling, if you've seen the new standard AMD heatsink for the new crazy AMD chips, it's like wicked psycho. But that chip is also wicked psycho.
Yeah. But I don't know how many of you remember Rambus.
Whatever, fuckers.
Yeah, they made crazy, insane fast RAM, but then they pulled some sort of intellectual property shenanigans.
I never really understood the whole story. All I knew was that RDRAM that Intel wanted you to use with some Pentium 4s was crap, and no one uses it anymore.
Actually, here's the deal. To sum it up real briefly, it was developed by this company and submitted to a consortium of whatever and approved as a standard. Then the company, after people agreed to this, released their submarine patent and said, oh, by the way, we already have patents on this. You all have to pay us royalties. And Intel said, yeah, sure, your RAM's the best. And everyone else in the world said, whoa, fuck you. So only Intel and only certain Intel used this RAM. And it was wicked fast. It was 800 megahertz, like back in the day when a 400 megahertz thing was like just unbelievable. And it was so hot and fast that, one, you had to use it in pairs of two. You had to have two identical sticks for every bit of RAM you wanted. Two, you needed heat sinks on every piece of RAM or it would overheat and break itself. That's why it was relevant. Heat sinks on RAM.
Yeah, it says here, from my cursory examination of a Wikipedia article on Rambus, is that they basically tried to make it to prevent anyone else from making RDRAM.
And then they charged a shit ton of money for RDRAM.
Apparently the N64 and the PlayStation 3 had RDRAM.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, and the PlayStation 3 will use Rambus's XDR memory.
Because Rambus's technology was pretty good in a lot of ways.
It seems that their technology was really fast, really powerful RAM, and a whole lot of it, but it was also kind of hot and a little latent compared to DDR.
Yep, it's good for certain kinds of applications.
Yeah.
I mean, I only know the story of it as it pertains to PCs, because when it comes to PCs, they were fuckers and everyone hated them.
And it seems like they have some sort of bus interface, as opposed to whatever bus our computers use. And that's pretty good also, called FlexIO. But
yeah, we could do a whole show on RAM one day.
Yeah, I guess. But yeah.
But the moral of the story is that, oh my god, despite the fact that my video card is hot enough to burn my flesh and leave a blister, and despite the fact that it's been that way for at least 6 or 7 months, and despite the fact that it's failed, mostly...
Oh, is that still the GeForce 2 GTS?
Yes.
Okay, good. Get a new video card.
I can still see the screen, and I'm recording the podcast right now with this busted-ass video card, and I'm going to keep using the busted-ass video card until next month when I buy a whole new computer.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a race against the clock. What's going to die first? My will to not buy a computer until March, or my GPU? Yeah.
Right.
So, UberCon.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, we went to UberCon, a gaming convention in North Jersey, last weekend.
And it sucked driving there and back. But,
driving there was fun.
Well, driving there was
back.
fun. Driving back was the worst thing ever, but the con itself was great.
Yeah, tomorrow is going to be UberCon Day. We're going to talk almost entirely about UberCon and a gaming system called Burning Wheel, which The only way I can describe this is OMG, OMG, heart, heart, heart.
Yeah, I've never really attached to any other gaming systems other than like D&D because either they were LARPs and I'm not a fan, or they were just D&D with different sets of numbers, or it was just D&D with like a few things changed, like you die real easily or something like that. This is actually a whole different kind of RPG that's like totally amazing and different, and I think it's a lot more fun.
Yeah, and
a lot less miniatures-based combat.
And part of it is that the guy who designed it demoed it for us.
And then later we played it with him.
And let me tell you, this is an awesome dude. We're going to have him on the show sometime soon to talk about Burning Wheel.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not going to talk about that today. Tomorrow we'll talk about UberCon and a bit about Burning Wheel. And as soon as we line up this interview, we're going to do a whole show on Burning Wheel by itself.
Yep. We probably won't talk a lot about Burning Wheel itself tomorrow. We'll talk about the games that we played.
We'll talk about the game we played.
Yeah.
Of it. OMG.
We'll talk about it because that'll be more like the experience of UberCon type of thing. Anyway.
Yeah.
So we were talking about RDRAM and their evil patent, whatever. Well, it seems like the Red Cross, of all people, is getting a little crazy with some trademark action.
Wait a minute. Their trademark is one of the simplest things in the world. It's a freaking Red Cross.
Yeah, it's just a red plus. And they're going after video game companies who use it on med kits and medics and trucks and helicopters and planes.
Wait a minute. That's like going after... Oh, God. I don't even have an analogy. That's just stupid.
How come they haven't gone after, like, movies that have, war movies or anything?
Or maybe those movies pay a royalty or something.
Maybe. I'm sure there's some TV shows involving war that have red crosses.
Wait, you know what this might be? This might be, because you know how in trademark and copyright and patent law, there's all those rules about you have to enforce it or try to enforce it or else you lose it. So they might not want to sue them, but they have to sue them just to show that they're enforcing it so they don't lose the trademark.
Why don't they just lose it? It's just a red plus. No one doesn't know what it is.
I was about to say, the Red Cross is a very good organization. They do good in the world. I can't imagine that they need to have their logo be theirs and sue people who don't use it without their permission.
Everyone in the entire world, except for people completely detached from society, like I guess rainforest people, something like that.
Yeah, or BOS users.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a nerd joke there.
They see the red plus and they know that means hospital, healing, help, Red Cross.
Or, you know what? It might be the Red Crescent because they use the Red Crescent in a lot of places too.
Do they?
I don't know if I think it's a different organization, but it's almost the same.
Oh.
It works in Muslim countries and such.
But anyway, everyone sees that and they go, "Oh, I know what that is." And it's not like the video games are using the Red Cross to signify the symbol of a fictional terrorist organization.
It's not like you're playing World War II, only instead of Nazis, you're fighting Red Cross workers.
Yeah. But I could see, let's say I started selling, I made a movie.
Red Cross t-shirts.
Oh, no. Like, you use the Red Cross as a symbol to signify something other than what the Red Cross is. Like, I made it the symbol of I made it the logo for my new car company. All the cars had a big red cross on them instead of, Ford has the blue oval.
Or what if I made a game where you're, maybe the bad guy is the evil head of the Red Cross who's doing evil, and they're a corrupt
organization. Not even,
the
Red Cross. He's the head of some organization.
Some organization that provides medical services.
No, not even one that provides medical services. He's the head of some evil organization, he's Spectre from James Bond, right?
No, I'm saying straight up.
But he uses
the Red Cross.
But he uses the Red Cross as the logo. You see, that's what I'm saying.
I'm saying either way, but in the end, it shouldn't matter. If I put on a Red Cross shirt and walk around my hometown, no one's going to think I'm working for the Red Cross.
Well, they might. They might think you're an EMT or something.
Well, they might think I'm an EMT because I have this. It's weird, but a little aside. But at UberCon, we were sitting around in the lobby outside the reg desk, relaxing and talking about cons. And the staff lady from UberCon came over and basically said, "I couldn't help but overhear." And she handed me a piece of paper and said, "Write down all your suggestions. We want your advice."
Mm-hmm. And because we were talking about cons in general, we weren't really talking about UberCon, but
yeah,
I don't know.
We seem to give out this aura of we're experts because things like that happen fairly often.
Mm.
You know what I think it is? It's a combination of loud and opinionated.
Yeah, but that has nothing to do with people thinking you're an EMT. Because
well, what if I was wearing a Red Cross shirt and I was talking about how I'm an EMT?
Then people would think you're one. All right. So yeah, I don't know what the red car's up to.
I'm pretty sure it's only because they have to do this or they lose the trademark. And I'll bet a lawyer for them said, you can't lose the trademark. And I'll bet no one even questioned why they need the trademark. They just said, we have to keep it.
Who
That's
knows?
my best guess.
Whatever. So there's a thing.
Oh, so you want to do all the news today?
I guess.
That's fine. You can talk about this one too. I'll provide witty banter and commentary and that sort of thing.
There's this thing called HDCP.
High bandwidth. There should be a B there, but they're assholes. Whatever. Digital content protection.
High bandwidth digital content
And
protection.
in the same vein of anything that has an acronym nowadays is bad, especially if there's a lot of D's in it or C's, like DMCA.
Ending in A is also
CBDTPA.
bad.
Yep, CBDTPA. This is one of those.
Oh, this ends in P, not A. But anyway, what this does is, let's say you have a very high-resolution movie, like the one on a Blu-ray or an HD DVD. Or let's say you have a very high-resolution video game on a DVD or whatever that you installed to your hard drive. And you want to play it on a high-resolution monitor. Well, it seems that in present times, we have this thing called the analog hole, which pretty much means at some point, the video signal has to go from your computer or DVD player or whatever to the monitor.
So if I want to copy whatever copy-protected shit they give me, I go out of this hole into my handy-dandy recording device and have a perfect copy from there on out.
Yeah, because the monitor itself can't do any sort of decryption or it can't do anything. All it can do is take a raw video signal and display it. So because it gets a video signal plugged into it via a wire of some sorts, you can make a device which takes in that raw video signal and writes it down to some sort of storage, like a hard drive or a magnetic tape or what have you, and you can copy anything. Well, they know that this is it's not a problem. It's supposed to be that way. That's the way it should be, the way it is now. But movie companies and such think this is a problem, and they don't want you getting such high-resolution copies copied perfectly because you have a digital connection between your whatever player, computer, and your monitor.
Now, their solution to this is just a whole new level of asshattery.
Yeah, it's called HDCPA.
HDCP, High Bandwidth Digital Content Protection.
Here, HDCP, goddamn.
It doesn't matter what it stands for. It's just like the CBDTPA. I still remember what that stands for.
SCA, SCCA? I don't know what they called it.
CBD, TPA, CDBTPA.
Whatever. It's all bad.
Consumer, broadband, and digital, fuck it, whatever.
Yeah, it's something that sucks. So what they're going to do is they're going to make monitors that are HDCP, like this monitor has HDCP. And then they'll say, this video card has HDCP, or this DVD player has HDCP, and this cable box has HDCP. And only things that have HDCP plugged into things that have HDCP will allow you to use the ultra-high resolutions.
So they'll make sure that the analog hole is mostly closed, or they won't give you the high bandwidth, high resolution.
The way it will work is let's say I have an HDCP DVD player and HDCP LCD HD TV television. Wow, that's a lot of letters. The DVD player will read the disc, will encrypt it, send it to the TV. The TV will decrypt it and display it. So that if I tried to record what came out of the DVD player to a device, it would be all encrypted and I don't have to decrypt it somehow.
Now, you could, of course, either do some magic electronics and hook something up to the cathode ray tube and get the data from there and reconstruct it, or, point a video camera that's synced up properly at the monitor, but you're still going to lose a lot, and they don't care about that.
Yeah, unless you break this encryption somehow, it's going to be pretty difficult to get the exact data of the high-resolution video copied to something else.
Now, this doesn't seem so bad on its own, because, all right, they're doing this to us, fuckers. And both ATI and NVIDIA they have support already in all their new GPUs.
Yeah, even I think on the level of CPUs, like AMD and Intel is the support, I think.
Well, the main article, the main thing we're going to talk about is that ATI and NVIDIA, all their cards now say they support this. Mm-hmm. And you know what? That's a goddamn lie.
Yeah, okay, well, here's what's going to happen. Apparently, if you... This is not... I don't have this isn't 100% sure information, but it's pretty sure. If you buy like an NVIDIA video card
in the store
that has HDCP and build a computer with it and plug it into an HDCP monitor, by the way, there's not really so many HDCP monitors. I don't think there are actually any. There might be very, very few. Like one
all
or
I
two.
know is I will not be buying one. Fuck you all.
Ever, yeah. They won't work. If you buy an HDCP video card and make a computer with it, it won't work.
Even though it says it on the box. It says HDCP on the box. It says it in the manual. It says it on their website. It says it supports it because it does support it, but not really.
It only supports it. It won't support it because if you're the kind of person who builds a computer, then that means you're the kind of person who can probably, break it or copy it, so they won't make it work.
So basically, you'll only be able to use HDCP protected content if you buy an HDCP monitor and you buy a Dell or Gateway.
Or an HDCP TV. Or a Sony. Sony computer.
So basically,
or an HP computer.
They've realized that hobbyists and people like us will always find a way around whatever shenanigans they try to pull.
Mm-hmm.
So they're just pulling the plug on us hobbyists and only providing this content to, the mouth breathers.
Now, here's the worst thing. In Vista... Oh, here's another great story about Vista.
Oh, God. Fucking Windows Vista.
It's going to be all HDCP action. So you're not going to even be able to do, the full resolution that's possible to do, perhaps for your computer's power, unless you have an HDCP video card and an HDCP monitor.
So they're enforcing this arbitrary standard to trick you into getting a thing that will prevent you from watching things you want to watch later.
Or at least watching them at high resolution. So you could have the highest resolution monitor in the world and the most powerful video card in the world and the most powerful computer in the world, but it will only go up to a certain resolution. You'll only be able to play games and watch movies up to a certain resolution unless they are HDCP-enabled video card and monitor on a pre-built computer, and thus you won't be able to copy anything.
Now here is why I don't care. This is Rim's I don't give a shit section. I'm even going to make some music for this in the future. Because whenever something like this comes up, I always give my rant at the end about, you know what, here's why I don't give a shit. So I'm going to make that a bit. Mm-hmm. I just thought of that right now. I'm going to get my own freaking I don't give a shit music and everything.
All right.
But basically...
the music has to just sound like, I don't care.
I don't care. What the fuck? You're all bastards.
You should put you saying that. You should put you saying stuff like that over it.
Maybe I will.
Yeah, that'd be
I'll
good.
make a little jingle. I'll play a little ditty on the piano and I'll sing something.
Yeah.
Give me a few weeks to put that together.
It'll sound terrible with you singing, but...
Hey, I can sing a little bit. I can sing any song where there are no more than 3 unique notes in that song. I can sing it fucking great.
All right.
Get outside of that and I have some issues.
Mm-hmm.
But all right, the reason I don't care is that, one, this only affects HDCP protected content. And I've noticed that almost everything I watch is either old crap technology, like DVDs, VHS, whatever, or it's something pirated that I just download from the internet anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I can watch that at whatever resolution I want, HDCP or not.
Yep.
2, I have no interest in any of this new content. I'm not going to buy videos from someone like Google or Microsoft. I'm going to watch the funny things on Google Video for free.
Yep.
I'm not going to buy an HD, CD, whatever. I'm going to download a freaking MP3 or a FLAC.
Mm-hmm.
And Blu-ray...
This doesn't have anything to do with audio. This is just high-resolution video.
But Blu-ray HD DVD, I note that current DVD is already more than enough as far as I'm concerned.
Mm-hmm.
So I really have no desire for Blu-ray at all. And I would upgrade normally because Blu-ray is better, except for all this DRM bullshit. Mm-hmm. So that's the end of that. I'm pretty much going to stop in terms of consumer entertainment technology as soon as this stuff comes into play.
I mean, we just got a new TV, so we're not replacing that anytime soon.
Yeah, our TV's not even HD because HD just isn't even really a standard anymore. It's just this DRM encumbered pile of crap.
It's not DRM encumbered yet.
However, as soon as the DRM stuff comes out, all the old HD TV won't even work with the new stuff.
Yeah, we don't really even have anything that would output HD because we don't have a cable box.
Yeah, we don't have Blu-ray, and we never will.
Yeah, the only thing we would ever have that would be HD is like if we got an Xbox 360 or a PS3 for free.
Oh, but it turns out that half the Xbox 360 games aren't really HD either. They're just upsampled.
Yeah.
Oh.
And if we really wanted, we could get that crazy DVD player that upsamples everything for you, whatever, but...
So seriously, don't protest
The Revolution won't be HD.
Yeah, but don't write letters to people. This isn't a law or anything. Don't don't do the stuff that people always do when acronyms like this come out.
Yeah, it's not a law. It's a technology that they're trying to make all
don't
the
even bother
video
with the
devices
petitions.
use.
You know what? Let it come. This is only going to hurt people. And then once people start getting hurt by this stuff, they're going to start caring, and that'll be the end of that. And if they don't start caring, just live your life free of consumer entertainment.
I have a feeling what's going to happen is that people might buy like a DVD player with HDCP, and they might buy a TV with it, but they won't know if they have a mismatch, and they won't care. Like, they'll think it's HD or whatever. Well,
what was that statistic? Something like 50 or 60% of people who have HD TVs aren't actually watching HD TV because they didn't hook it up right?
Yeah,
or they don't know, or they don't notice.
Yeah, and they think it's HD TV because the TVs do look better, just default.
That's because they're better
I think the
TVs.
way the technology is supposed to function, theoretically, is that if you don't have the HDCP support, that it will just go at the lower resolution.
So you won't even know it's broken.
Yeah. There might be some sort of message. Who knows?
Well, plus I point out that there's so much more and more content is coming out on the internet that isn't protected by anything. I mean, we're going to put DRM on our podcast?
Yeah, I mean, I listen to more podcasts than I ever watch TV, even when I was a crazy TV watcher.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and it's just, those are just MP3s. I don't have to worry about crap like this.
Yeah, Anime Ski, various torrent sites. You can get all the entertainment you need from the internet.
Yep. It's like, you're going to prevent me from copying the stuff that I don't watch anyway.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So, things of the day. I found this a long time ago, and I was really stretching for a thing of the day today. And then I used this site because I use it often for reasons I'm not going to get into, but they're much nerdier than you would expect. And it's basically just a nice gathering of all sorts of British slang, and it explains what these phrases mean and how to use it. That's it.
That's it?
Yeah, it's really cool and really useful if you happen to be playing a Cockney kind of British thug person who's also a fairy dragon in a Dungeons & Dragons game because you're a nerd like me.
Yes, exactly like you.
Yeah, I thought it was cool. And because it's funny, but we have multiple listeners in the UK and in Australia and places, which we didn't expect, but I think is awesome.
You ever see the third Austin Powers movie?
Gold member?
Yeah.
No.
I think I saw the whole thing, but I didn't really pay attention to the whole thing. But there's one part where Austin and his dad are there, and they say, and it's like, wait, we're both British, let's speak proper, or something like that. And then they start talking in a way where you can't possibly comprehend anything they're saying, and there are subtitles. But it's like the crazy British blah, where they use other words in places of other words, and you just don't know what the hell's going on.
Cockney rhyming slang. I actually learned it.
I don't know what the hell it was, but it was just nuts, and there was subtitles, and it was funny.
Because I read a bunch of Cockney rhyming slang, and then I figured out what was going on, and now I get it, and it's actually kind of clever. The problem is, because actually a couple weeks ago, I did it at work. I made a little funny slang like that, because it's really kind of a cool... I'm not going to explain it. It's real simple. Basically, I did it, and I said something, and I don't think Americans can really get it. I just don't think...
I can't even get it, and I'm smart.
If I explained it to you, which I'll do off the air, or maybe I'll do it on the air if we ever do a show on like language or slang or anything like that, it's not difficult, and it's actually really clever, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought this was cool because basically I play this character, and I use it to type in a very authentic way. Because, I also play the game online, so doubly geeky.
Mm-hmm. Triply. Really. So... unlike most geeks, I think, at least I'm pretty sure, I'm a fan of, Godzilla. Ghidra.
Oh, Godzilla! Kaiju Big Battle!
Well, Kaiju Big Battle doesn't, I guess it kind of, whatever.
It involves kaiju.
Yeah, that's for sure.
That's all that matters.
So, my favorite guy is Ghidra, which is the three-headed dragon guy.
Really, I'm more of a Mothra man.
Yeah, Mothra's my second favorite. In fact... Even though Ghidra is my favorite monster, I will say that the best movie is Godzilla vs. Mothra. That is guaranteed. Anyway, the thing is, there's a book in the from a long time ago, I think from 1967, called An Anatomical Guide to Monsters. It's a Japanese book, and it contains all the monsters, like, cut open so you can see their innards.
Ooh, that's kind of like that thing a guy did a while ago where he made the internal skeletal structures of a whole bunch of cartoon characters.
Yeah, kind of like that.
That's pretty badass.
So there's a picture here from an old Japanese book that shows, like, where Gamera's brain is.
Does Gamera have a lightning sac of some kind?
I don't know, but he's got, like, these 4... It seems like they're digestive portions, but they might not be.
They've got to be breath weapon generators.
Yeah, one of them seems to have red stuff. One of them has... It seems like a red liquid. One has a white powder. One has some black bits. And one has some other sort of white rocky bits. And I think that those combined with this other gland over here, like... He must cough them up, and then
you're already putting more thought into this than you should be.
That's why this is the thing of the day, and it's so cool.
Yeah, it is.
So if you're wondering what Gamera's guts look like, and
you're not man enough to cut him open and look,
yeah, try to get away with that.
So we totally copped out today. We don't have anything to talk about. That's why we kind of went long in the news bits.
We suck.
We were going to talk about DRM, but we're still tired from frickin' UberCon.
Yeah, because DRM kind of tied into the other news about...
All we could say about DRM is that it's bad and we hate it, but we don't care because it doesn't affect us.
Yeah, it just sucks.
So yeah, that was it. That's the show today.
Mm-hmm.
Fire bad, DRM
well, I mean,
bad.
after the drive home Saturday, we're still totally shocked.
Yeah, so for those of you who don't live in the Northeast Corridor, we went to UberCon. We drove there Saturday morning, and we left Sunday morning. Well, Saturday night, basically.
Midnight.
Yeah, 12:30 to be exact.
And we knew there was going to be a crazy snow, whatever.
Yeah, we knew it was going to snow, but we hadn't really looked, and it was actually a huge fucking blizzard.
Well, I knew it was going to be a huge fucking blizzard.
I guess we just didn't prepare ourselves.
The thing is, I didn't care. I figured I would just drive home in it and it'd be all right.
Yeah, and then we actually got on the road. We
had to go like 20, 30 miles an hour the whole way.
There were no other cars other than this one car that almost spun out and hit us.
Now, I was driving in a brand new car. The worst thing about anything was that I couldn't see the lines on the road. That was the absolute worst part of it.
Oh, and SUVs passing us at like 60?
Yeah.
Oh my God, there's 3 inches of snow on the ground. They can't brake. They're sliding all over the place. They almost hit us. But now they can go 60.
There was nothing worse than not being able to see the lines. That's because
I submit that it was worse to be lost in Jersey, unable to find the Garden State, because Jersey does not have signs for its roads.
Jersey does have signs. The signs all suck, and you can't make a U-turn without going onto some wacky road.
So here's our dilemma. We're on a road, and we see a little green circle sign that says, Garden State Parkway, this way, exit. So we get on this little exit, and we follow the exit to its conclusion. We see no more signs along this exit. The exit took us back to the same road where we then saw the same exit again.
So we tried it again.
And sure enough,
there's a sign that says turn right for the Garden State. So we turn right. After we turn right, we can either go straight or right. We can, there's 2 ways to go, and it doesn't say which one of those is the Garden State.
And both of us taken back to the same fucking road.
Yeah, it sucked.
We went around it like 3 times. Then we just gave up and parked in a parking lot for a minute.
Yeah, to recoup.
Yeah. It was hellish.
Then we went to a gas station to recoup again. Then I just kept going down the road until I got onto 87 North.
We figured we'd just keep heading north. Worst case, we'd hit I-84 because it goes across the whole freaking country.
It doesn't go across the whole country.
It goes across the whole country as far as we're concerned.
Yeah.
If we tried to go past a spot where I-84 doesn't exist, we're lost. We're in like Tennessee, and we're done.
We might have just 84. We could have gone on some road where like 84 just kind of went on a little bridge over us. Or we went over it on a bridge, and then we didn't even know.
Yeah, and you know what? Then we'd hit Canada. They have to stop us at the border.
Yeah, then we'd be all right.
Not to mention the fact that we'd been gaming all day.
Yeah, we had just finished a 4-hour game, which we'll talk about tomorrow. But
yeah, one of the best 4-hour games ever.
So we're shot to this week, but we do have... We're good for like 2 or 3 more weeks now. We've got stuff.
Yeah, like tomorrow, UberCon, straight up, like a whole day of UberCon. Wednesday, we've seen some freaking anime.
Too many anime.
Yeah, there may or may not be a show Thursday because I'm going out of town again, this time for Katsucon.
Yeah, that's not a cop-out, that's not here.
Yeah, so regardless, you'll probably get an extra long week next week, and you'll probably get an extra long show tomorrow.
Yeah,
because-
plus all these cons will bring really quality episodes when we talk about what happened at the cons.
Yeah, I mean, UberCon this previous weekend, KatsuCon this coming weekend, New York Comic Con the next weekend. The weekend after that, we might have all our friends in the world coming to our house and messing it up like we tend to have.
Well, I think the
every now and then.
non-con is that weekend. I got to check.
Oh, great, another con.
Yeah. I don't know if we're going to go to that or not. We got to see.
Yeah, at least all the other cons are far off. I mean, Kinetic-Con's a ways out yet. Otacon's a ways out.
Yeah. It doesn't matter. It's con season, so good episodes even though we might miss a few, like this.
Though keep in mind that KatsuCon, if I get a thing in time, I'm going to be interviewing some people there, just for the show, about cons, whatever. But starting with Toricon, we're going to be doing full-on live shows at these conventions.
Yeah, so don't be surprised if an MP3 gets downloaded on a Saturday or a Sunday from your feed reader, catcher, or whatever you got going on.
Yeah, because once we start, we're going to start going to these cons in an official capacity soon. All the cons we've gone to now, we were going to go to anyway. We just happen to be doing a podcast, so we might talk about it at the con, but we're not there as Geeknights. We're going to these cons coming up as Geeknights, like Rim and Scott. Mm-hmm. We're those two guys.
Mm-hmm.
That's all we got. Today's a loss. Thursday may or may not be a loss. I guarantee tomorrow will be worth listening to, because while it's going to be a gaming day, we did a lot of stuff that I think everyone wants to hear about.
Everyone needs a week off. I mean, the fact that we do 4 podcasts a week is insane compared to most people.
This is our 58th podcast, not counting the 10 or so we did before we put the site up.
There are podcasts that have been going for years and years and years. Well, not years, but over a year at least, that are still on episode, like, they just managed to get episode 50. People who do weekly podcasts, who've been doing it for a year, are on episode 52. We're on 58, and we've been going for, like, a few months.
That's why we're adding those feeds for all the different days, because our anime day is a whole anime podcast, basically.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically we're doing 4 separate podcasts.
Yep.
And the fact that we're not dead yet, I think, really speaks highly of the fact that we can take abuse and stay up late every night. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how we do this.
I do it laying down.
Yeah, I sit in my chair.
Anyway, so, yeah, when I redo the site, everything should be easier. And if you have any questions or you're not sure how podcast subscribing works, well, I guess you might not be listening then, but...
Yeah, though we're starting to see more and more people are moving to the feed, so you guys are either learning how to use feed things, or we're getting new listeners, and you guys are leaving, or I don't know.
Yeah. If you don't know how to use podcast feeds, just ask us or something.
Yeah, if enough people ask, let's do a show on how podcasts work, like on a fundamental level.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and in the forum, there's a thread. It's sticky. It's at the top. And it says, like, introduce yourself or something like that.
Don't feel obligated to, because I know a lot of people lurk. I still lurk to this day. I've read there's a webcomic called College Roomies from Hell that I've read for the last, 6 years. And I lurk in the forums to this day. I've never posted.
Yeah, but you don't have to go and say who you are or whatever if you don't want to. But I think it would be really cool if everyone said who they were in there.
Because all the people, I mean, even the ones we haven't done publicly, the people we've gotten to know in our forums are really cool.
Yeah, most of them. I say 99% of them.
Actually, the only ones who might not be cool are ones that we already know.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and now that everyone out there is trying to figure out, is he talking about me? No, if you're thinking that, we're not talking about you.
Also, you might notice that on the right side of the homepage right now, under my links, Scott's links, there's a Frapper map. It's been there for a long time, but you can go in there and say where you're from, and it'll put a little, like, a thumbtack on the map.
I totally forgot you set that up.
Yeah, I totally forgot also. I just thought of it just now.
Yeah, believe me, once we set the site up more, we're going to have, our own Flickr, just for Geeknights, and all this sort of stuff that's going to bring the little community around the show together.
Yeah, I'm going to remake the site to be super awesome. I'm working on it at home, and as soon as it's ready, I can upload it, and the switch, you won't even notice because it'll be so seamless.
And we got a whole bunch of artists working in their part-time, kind of, toward getting us some cool logos, and we're going to get rid of that Geeknights neon thing.
Yeah, we're going to get a real logo that doesn't suck, and you'll have the little pictures on your iPods and everything.
Yeah, if any of you out there are artistically inclined and you want to add to the pool, I can't promise we'll use whatever logo you come up with for us. But one, if you need reference photos, we can provide them. And two, if we ever make T-shirts or anything, anyone whose art we use, or anyone who freaking sent us art, will probably just get a free one.
Yeah, anyone who, I'll tell you what, everyone who has some sort of logo making ability, if you try to make the Geeknights logo, which should be something that looks good in a square, because we have to use square pictures for iPod pictures and whatnot.
I mean, for the site, like our big graphics, we actually have people who are working on those, really. So don't worry about that.
Yeah, well, no, like...
Oh, yeah, so if you want to do something, do
something
whatever.
that's like the identifying trademark logo of Geeknights. If you can come up with it, and it's good, then...
you'll win something.
We'll give you some awesome... something that's worth it.
Well, let me put it this way.
You won't feel
Geeknights
ripped
uses
off.
a lot of bandwidth and a lot of time. Between the two of us, we're actually fairly wealthy. Like, we're not wealthy in terms of, wealthy people.
We don't have mansions and Ferraris,
No.
although we'd like them.
But we do not want for geekery at all. So we can come up with some fairly awesome prizes.
Yeah, I mean, just think about, like, something that you've been dying to buy. Like, I don't know, a video game or maybe a manga, a comic, or like
In fact, even
something.
better, if you guys get the word out, if we hit 1,000 listeners, we'll put together some sort of awesome prize, and then we'll give it to someone somehow.
Yeah. So, try to make a Geeknights logo of awesome.
Yeah, if you can't tell, we're just kind of filling in here,
Yeah.
padding out the podcast a little.
Better than no podcast, like some people.
Yeah. Because, there are nights, I mean, most nights we come home, we're like, yeah, I'm talking about this and this and this, the podcast is going to be freaking awesome. But every now and then we come home and we sit here like, God damn it, let's just not do one. But we do it anyway.
I don't know how Penny Arcade does it. Not only do they consistently do 3 nights a week, but it's always awesome.
Yep. I mean, there seem to be 3 philosophies. There's the third philosophy of just put crap out and it sucks. But like Penny Arcade, they consistently produce something awesome, and they force themselves to.
Nothing better than that.
But then there's like Perry Bible Fellowship, which updates whenever, but it only updates when the guy has a great idea and does it. So every one is a perfect gem of
it's
humor.
always quality, but you never know when.
Yeah.
Then we have ours. We always do it, no matter what. And sometimes it's good, and sometimes it's
Yeah,
not so
like
good.
honestly, recently someone reviewed Geeknights, and they happened to listen to 2 episodes where we just bitched at each other and argued.
Yep.
So I guess the fact that he still had fairly positive feelings toward us was a good sign.
I think so.
I mean, we... at least now that Scott drives to work instead of taking the train, and he leaves late, and then he leaves work early, we have a lot more time now.
Yeah, I don't know how long that lasts. As long as there's no one at the office now, supposedly more people are going to be there. So we'll see what happens when more people...
Yeah, we'll see what happens if I end up working in the city instead of where I work now.
Yeah, and we'll see what happens if more people work at the office that I work at eventually, because then I might not be able to just run away from it.
But I can tell you, we're going to keep doing 4 days a week because everyone who actually gives us feedback says it's great.
Mm-hmm.
We've never had anyone give us bad feedback. So if you don't like Geeknights, tell us, because we're just assuming we're awesome.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't like it, this will probably be the only episode you've ever listened to and ever do listen to. If that's the case, listen to another one, please, because this one's not so good.
What was a really good episode we did? Well, most of the ones on anime are good. Most of the reviews of video games are good.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, the one just from Google, poking around, our most linked to podcast is the one we did on pseudoscience when we had our guest scientist Peter Olson.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're gonna have Pete on the show more because Pete he's a good friend of ours. Independent of that, he's a fairly respected scientist at a government agency. And
That's a great way of spinning it.
yeah, well, he's respected by the people who know him,
Yeah.
and he does work for a government agency, and he is a scientist. I in no way lied.
No, you in no way lied. However, people will misinterpret that and think like, oh,
You know what? I'm a freaking spin doctor. What do you want?
Dr. Spin. Here, let's see what the most downloaded episode is recently.
Yeah, but the
February 2nd, 2006.
February 2nd, 2006. What the hell was that?
It's been downloaded 104 times in the month of February. So it's the most downloaded episode for February as of today.
Well, the February 6th podcast was, in fact, the one on instant messaging.
I think I said February 2nd, not 6th.
Oh, you said 6th.
Did I?
All right, February 2nd is Toys of Our Youth.
Ooh, that was a good one.
That was a good one, actually.
All those of our youth episodes, like toys and then TV of our youth, and those are good episodes.
They're not particularly insightful, but everyone who gives us feedback just says that we're bastards because we send them down some sort of horrible nostalgia fest, and then they try to find all their old toys and play with them.
Yeah, definitely nostalgia in the house.
All right, I think we've done enough filler. So tomorrow, UberCon Burning Wheel. Wednesday, 2 terrible anime, most likely.
No, let's watch a good one. I think. What's the one we just watched today?
If I finish Last Exile,
Yeah, finish it.
I'll finish it. I might not have time before Katsukan.
All right.
You know, we'll talk about that one we just watched, the good one. The slow one.
Yeah, the slow one. It wasn't that good. It was slow, but it was better than most.
Yeah. See, you're getting a peek now, all you listeners out there, into what we talk about when we're not on the air. Because we're just kind of talking at this point.
When we're trying to figure out what to talk about.
Yeah. Someday, I think we're going to do an episode. We'll do 2 episodes, but on Monday we'll do the episode. And on Thursday, we'll play back the recording we'll make of us talking about what we're going to do in the episode.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be a good set of episodes. Because actually,
or maybe we just Monday we did, I don't know.
Well, yeah, because the thing is...
We're doing it now, oh my god.
Yeah, but there have been the two biggest things that people have requested of me, of Geeknights, that we do a show about, is one, people keep asking me to do a show on how to do a podcast, like what equipment we use.
There's so many podcasts that have that information in them.
Here's the thing.
And there's so many websites that have that information.
Half those websites, honestly, just give wrong or bad information or bad advice, or the people don't know what they're talking about. And the other half assume that you have infinite money. And are just like, yeah, buy this, buy this, buy this. So when we finally do that episode, we can tell you how to do an awesome podcast that sounds at least as good as Geeknights for less than $200.
Yeah, the thing is, if your podcast, doesn't even have to be as quality as ours. A lot of the podcasts I listen to, which are more popular than this one, are made with less money and less equipment and sound shittier. It's all about the content. The content is so good that I can suffer their... slightly less quality audio.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason ours sounds as good as it does is just that we actually do know more than a little bit. We have enough knowledge to be dangerous when it comes to audio crap, and we're learning a lot.
If you want to make a podcast, all you really have to do is plug a microphone into your computer, fiddle with the recording volume so you don't go too crazy loud or too crazy quiet that no one can hear, or that it breaks all the time with too loud. You set it just right, and then you push record and you talk. Then you turn the wave into an MP3 and you upload it.
Yep.
That's it.
And if you want to go one step above that, just buy like a $20 microphone from Radio Shack, because that'll beat the crap out of the $5 microphone you've got now.
Yep. I mean, the Logitech headsets microphones actually aren't so bad.
But if you get that Stick Creative microphone that comes with the Sound
$2
Blaster,
thing, that's no good. No.
That's probably the worst microphone money cannot buy.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. But the other thing that people have been requesting the most is... Now I forget, because I'm stupid. I got sidetracked about
how
audio.
Stupid you are?
Huh?
An episode about how stupid you are?
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Awesome.
All right, and the other one that was requested a lot, and for all of you, since this episode's just blah at this point anyway, I just cut out a whole section of me sitting there trying to remember what the other most requested one was.
Mm-hmm.
It was... a show that people want to know where we came from, like why, just the whole story of us in the Front Row Crew.
Yep.
Which we could do a show on that. We've talked about it bit by bit, and if you've listened to the whole show, like from the beginning, you could probably piece most of it together.
Yeah, so if you don't know what the Front Row Crew is, or who we are, or who our friends are, and all that, someday there'll be probably Thursday episode on that.
Yeah, we were trying to save episodes from that, like that, for when we're in rare form, because some days we're good to go, some days we're not. Today we weren't.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's it.
I'm going to bed.
So am I, but I got to do freaking post-production.
I'm going to brush my teeth.
Yeah. My last bit, this is the last thing I'm going to say. I'm ordering a dynamic range compressor, a hardware one, to put between the mixer and the computer. And to sum it up very simply, it is going to, 1, make the podcast sound a lot better, and 2, is going to cut my post-production time in half, which means I'm going to get more sleep, which means I'm going to be able to say better, more insightful things.
Maybe.
Yeah, we'll see. Or I'll just stay up later doing other crap like playing Phoenix Wright, like I'm going to do right now.
Yeah, I'm probably going to brush my teeth and play that Final Fantasy IV, even though it's slightly annoying.
Yeah, it gets less annoying later on when the plot is so engrossing that you start forgetting about the stuff that bothers you in the game.
I think I'm going to walk around and level up a little tiny bit, even though I don't want to. But I think I have to.
Yeah, you might want to do that before you go up that other mountain.
Yeah.
All right, we're done. That's it. Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
And that was Geeknights with Rim and Scott. Special thanks to DJ Pretzel for our opening theme.
Be sure to visit our website at www.frontrowcrew.com. If you like our podcasts, you'll love our forums. Make sure you visit them. You can send your email feedback to geeknights@gmail.com. And if you want, you can leave us a voicemail at 206-333-1537.
Geeknights airs every weeknight, Monday through Thursday.
Geeknights is recorded with absolutely no studio and no audience. But unlike those other talk shows, it's actually recorded at night.